Hey trappers, got this trap in the mail today. I wanted to see if I could tune it and modify it. Duke 650, everybody is familiar with them. Came out a year or two ago, and they are slightly too wide a jaw spread to be PA legal. We have a 6.5 outside jaw spread law here in Pennsylvania, and I actually had heard some guys that were just grinding the jaws, the outside of the jaws, to make them PA legal. It's a lot of work. I wanted to try it on one just to see if I could make a pretty decent beaver trap out of it. And I got it. It's pretty nice. These are really, really nice traps. But it's just, it's too much work to modify these into, you know, Pennsylvania legal coyote traps if you're going to be setting any amount of them. But I will show you. These have, oh, I don't know, almost 7 and 3/4 jaw width from jaw post, or I'm sorry, frame width from jaw post to jaw post. So that's a pretty wide trap, which is, you know, what I prefer for a beaver trap. And I'll just, since I have the tape measure out, I'll put my finger under the pan just to show you that we are, try to get a little closer. It doesn't want to stay on there real good. But I'm under 6.5, as you can see. It's under 6.5. So I ground enough away to make this PA legal. I just want to go through real quick and show you what I did to this. So let me set the trap off. Took the top of the jaws to the grinder, ground it away. I kept measuring it till I got under 6.5. And then I took it to my vertical belt sander and smoothed it off. You know, held the jaws open and smoothed the inside edge. And I mean, this is a awesome trap. I just wish we could use them legally in PA without going all this work. We actually make them a worse trap by grinding at it and maybe have the potential of a sharp edge there. I mean, I took care of it, but if, you know, somebody doesn't have the right equipment, could try this and they'll make the trap a lot worse than what it is out of the box, but just to satisfy the law. So that was the first thing I did, was get it legal, get it PA legal. You can kind of see how much I took off there. The second thing I did, you know, nothing new. Most coil spring doggone type coil spring traps need this. I closed that dog eye a little, you know, in my vise to get rid of some of the slop. Now, I want to show you one other thing. This is something I do with these rod dogs, with you know, a few different models. I take a triangular file, and I just make a little notch in there. And what that is for, it's what I call the safety notch, and that'll stay up in there, and you know, you have it on a high pan. I mean, if you're beaver trapping with this, you know, you're probably not going to need it, but you know, if you were land trapping with it, you've seen in my other videos, I like to bed on a high pan. So that's what that safety, aka quote unquote safety notch, is for. I also took my angle grinder and ground these nubs off, these lugs, you could say. And what that did is, like I said, I want to turn this into a PA legal beaver trap, and otter, especially, you know, a lot of new wildlife management units got a, you know, getting otter seasons. The one I live in got an otter season this year. But I have that probably about, I would guess, I didn't measure it, but I guess an 1/8 inch offset. That's a 3/16 inch rod, and it's smaller than that. So I'm guessing it's about an 1/8 inch. That's about as far as I wanted to go. But that worked out really good grinding those down. I know Jason Vance out of Maine, he's, you know, catches a pile of beaver and otter, and he's just with a stock offset. But I knew from messing with those lugs before I could close that offset a little bit. It was pretty simple to do. Took a lot less time than the grinding of the, you know, the top of that jaws to make it PA legal. I would never want to do, you know, a couple dozen of these. I thought it was, now I'm very meticulous and I'm particular too, but it just took me a lot of time, and I wanted to get it nice and smooth afterwards. So, I mean, this Duke 650, this is an awesome trap. If I was going to ever trap, you know, the West, or, you know, in a coyote dominant area, I think this would be my trap of choice. I really like that posi trip system. The trap is just very user friendly. I love it. I kind of wish we could use it in PA out of the box, but honestly, I don't think I'd use that many, simply because I just have more foxes than I do coyotes. But yeah, and I just put a J-hook through the end of the, you know, end swivel, and put a little 1/8 inch quick link. That's just a hook to a drowning lock. But just to recap kind of what I did to this, I closed the dog eye. I used a triangular file to make that safety notch so the pan, you know, wouldn't flop down if you're, you know, working in the trap or whatever. I ground the top of that off to bring the outside jaw spread. Measured at the dog to under 6.5 inches. And I worked these lugs down with an angle grinder. I actually do them on a little bit of an angle. I had some issues with the 550s getting some peat moss caught in there, so I grind them on an angle inward. But then I did grind some of the outside to, you know, make them shorter so I can get that offset down to under 3/16 of an inch. I mean, these are a beast. I'm kind of excited to put a beaver in one, you know, in this one. This is the only one I have. I never bought a lot of them because, you know, they weren't PA legal, and I didn't want to go through all this work to do them. But it's not going to be a perfect beaver trap, but it's going to be a dang good beaver trap for the state of Pennsylvania. So just want to show you that, you know, that to you guys and girls. Till next time.